Imagine walking into a garden where towering tomato plants heavy with fruit stand without stakes, where carrots pull from the earth with surprising ease, and where the soil feels like chocolate cake beneath your fingers. Now imagine achieving all this without ever turning a shovel to till the earth. This isn't a gardening fantasy, it's the reality that Amish communities have been living for generations, and it's about to revolutionize how you think about growing food. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about preparing garden beds might actually be working against you? That the annual ritual of tilling, turning, and breaking up soil could be destroying the very foundation of plant health? The Amish discovered this truth centuries ago, and their no-till methods are producing some of the most abundant, nutrient-dense vegetables you'll ever see. Walk through any conventional garden in spring, and you'll witness the same scene played out across millions of backyards: gardeners hunched over rototillers, churning soil into submission, believing they're creating the perfect growing environment. But beneath the surface, this mechanical violence is wreaking havoc on a complex ecosystem that took nature years to build. Every time you till soil, you're essentially performing surgery on a living organism. The intricate network of fungal threads that connect plant roots and transport nutrients gets severed. Beneficial microorganisms that create the soil's natural structure are scattered and destroyed. The carefully balanced layers that hold moisture and nutrients are scrambled like eggs in a pan. What looks like preparation is actually destruction. The Amish understood this instinctively, long before modern soil science proved them right. Their approach to gardening mirrors nature's own methods, where forests and prairies thrive without anyone turning the soil. Instead of fighting against natural processes, they learn to work with them, creating gardens that become more productive and resilient with each passing season. This isn't just about being gentle with the earth, though that's certainly part of it. No-till gardening produces dramatically better results because it preserves and enhances the soil's natural ability to support plant life. When soil structure remains intact, water penetrates deeper and stays available longer. When beneficial microorganisms flourish undisturbed, they create a nutrient exchange system more sophisticated than any fertilizer program. When earthworms and other soil creatures can establish permanent highways through the earth, they aerate and enrich the growing medium better than any machine ever could. The heart of Amish no-till gardening lies in understanding soil as a living community, rather than an inert growing medium. Their approach centers on three fundamental principles that work together to create thriving garden ecosystems: minimal disturbance, constant nourishment, and strategic plant partnerships. Minimal disturbance means exactly what it sounds like. Once soil structure is established, it's left alone to do what soil does best. Instead of breaking up compacted areas with tillage, Amish gardeners use broad forks or simply plant deep-rooted crops that naturally penetrate and loosen tight soil. When planting time arrives, they create just enough space for seeds or transplants without disrupting the broader soil community. This might mean using a dibble stick to create precise planting holes or carefully parting mulch to nestle seedlings into their new homes. The constant nourishment aspect is where Amish gardens truly shine. Rather than adding amendments once or twice a year, they're continuously feeding the soil through layered organic matter. Grass clippings from pathway maintenance get spread between crop rows. Kitchen scraps are buried directly in garden beds where they'll feed next season's plants. Fallen leaves are gathered, not just from their own property, but often from neighboring farms, creating deep mulch layers that suppress weeds while slowly decomposing into rich humus. This layering technique is perhaps the most visually striking aspect of Amish gardens. What might look like organized chaos to the untrained eye is actually a carefully orchestrated system of decomposition and renewal. Fresh organic matter goes on top, partially decomposed material forms the middle layer, and rich, dark, compost-like soil lies beneath. As earthworms and other decomposers work their way through these layers, they're constantly mixing and processing organic matter, creating a soil structure that's both stable and dynamic. Strategic plant partnerships round out the Amish approach through thoughtful companion planting and crop rotation. Rather than viewing plants as individual performers, They see them as members of a garden community where, each species contributes something unique. Heavy feeders like corn and tomatoes are followed by soil-building legumes. Shallow-rooted crops are paired with deep-rooted plants that mine nutrients from lower soil layers. Pest-repelling herbs are woven throughout vegetable plantings, creating a natural defense system that, honestly, reduces the need for intervention. The proof of any gardening method lies in the harvest basket, and this is where Amish no-till techniques truly demonstrate their superiority. Visitors to established Amish gardens often express amazement at the size, quality, and abundance of vegetables grown using these traditional methods. Tomatoes that dwarf store-bought varieties, root vegetables that pull from the earth without the usual struggle, and leafy greens that, maintain their crisp texture and vibrant color throughout the growing season. But the benefits go far beyond impressive produce. The soil in mature no-till gardens develops what can only be described as a magical quality. It's dark, crumbly, and sweet-smelling, teeming with earthworms and other beneficial creatures. This living soil holds moisture like a sponge during dry spells but drains efficiently during heavy rains. It's naturally fertile, requiring fewer outside inputs while, honestly, producing more abundant harvests year after year. The scientific explanation for these results lies in the complex relationships that develop in undisturbed soil ecosystems. Mycorrhizal fungi form partnerships with plant roots, extending the effective reach of each plant's root system by hundreds of times. These fungal networks not only help plants access water and nutrients from greater distances, but also facilitate communication between plants, allowing them to share resources and even warning signals about pest threats. Soil biology in no-till systems becomes incredibly diverse and active. Beneficial bacteria that fix nitrogen from the air proliferate in the oxygen-rich environment created by good soil structure. Predatory insects and soil dwellers establish populations that naturally control pest species before they can cause significant damage. The result is a self-regulating system that becomes more stable and productive with minimal external inputs. Perhaps most remarkably, the flavor and nutritional quality of vegetables from these systems often surpass anything available in stores. Plants growing in biologically active soil have access to a much broader spectrum of nutrients, including trace elements that are often missing from conventionally grown produce. The slow, steady nutrition provided by decomposing organic matter creates steady plant growth without the boom and bust cycles that can stress plants and affect flavor development. Transitioning to no-till methods doesn't require abandoning your current garden or starting from scratch. The beauty of this approach, honestly, lies in its adaptability to gardens of any size, from small urban plots to expansive rural homesteads. The key is starting with realistic expectations and building soil health gradually, while learning to work with natural processes rather than against them. Your first step involves honestly assessing your current soil condition. If you've been tilling for years, your soil structure has been repeatedly disrupted, and the biological community is likely impoverished. Don't expect immediate miracles, but do prepare to be amazed at how quickly soil can recover when given the chance. Begin by simply stopping the tillage cycle. If your garden is currently a tilled bed, plant a cover crop or apply a thick layer of organic mulch, and let the soil begin its recovery process. Gathering organic materials becomes, an ongoing treasure hunt that connects you more deeply with your local environment. Grass clippings, fallen leaves, kitchen scraps, and aged manure all become valuable resources for building soil health. Many gardeners discover that neighbors are happy to share their waste materials, creating community connections while building garden fertility. The goal is to have a constant supply of organic matter in various stages of decomposition, allowing you to layer materials throughout the growing season. Starting small allows you to perfect techniques without becoming overwhelmed. You might want to consider converting just one garden bed to no-till methods, while keeping your traditional beds for comparison. This approach really lets you observe the differences firsthand and helps build confidence in the new techniques. Honestly, many gardeners are surprised to discover that the no-till bed ends up requiring less water, fewer pest interventions, and less time overall, while producing superior results. Common concerns about weed control and soil compaction often prevent gardeners from trying no-till methods, but these challenges are actually pretty easily addressed with proper technique. Thick organic mulches suppress weeds more effectively than tillage ever could, while the deep root channels created by cover crops and permanent soil structure actually prevent compaction better than repeated mechanical cultivation. The key here is understanding that short-term challenges during transition lead to long-term benefits that make gardening easier and more productive. In our rush toward technological solutions for every challenge, we sometimes overlook the wisdom embedded in traditional practices that have sustained communities for generations. Amish no-till gardening represents more than just an alternative growing method. It's a complete philosophy that recognizes the garden as part of a larger ecological web, rather than just a controlled production system. So, this approach, really offers profound relevance for modern challenges ranging from climate change to food security. Gardens managed using no-till principles actually sequester carbon in soil organic matter rather than releasing it through tillage. They need less water, fewer external inputs, and less energy, all while producing more nutritious food. Plus, they create habitat for beneficial insects and soil organisms, which helps conserve biodiversity even in suburban settings. The simplicity of no-till methods stands in stark contrast to the complexity that often characterizes modern gardening advice. Rather than requiring expensive tools, complicated timing schedules, or precise chemical applications, this approach asks gardeners to observe, adapt, and work with natural processes. The result is a gardening practice that becomes more rewarding and successful over time rather than more demanding. Perhaps most importantly, Amish no-till gardening reconnects us with the fundamental truth that healthy soil is the foundation of healthy food, healthy communities, and a healthy planet. Every garden converted to these methods becomes a small sanctuary where natural processes can flourish, demonstrating that abundance and sustainability aren't opposing forces but natural partners. As you consider implementing these time-tested techniques in your own garden, remember that you're joining a tradition that spans generations and connecting with wisdom that becomes more relevant with each passing year. The Amish discovered long ago that working with nature rather than against it creates not just better gardens, but a better way of living on the earth. Ready to revolutionize your garden with these ancient techniques? Subscribe to Smart Garden for more time-tested wisdom that creates modern abundance, and share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to discover the power of working with nature rather than against it. Your soil and your harvest will thank you for making the change.